Recently, I had a chat with a friend who asked me what would be the amount of money you'd need to retire. And it's funny because this is a question I've been asking myself like my entire life when I was a student, when I started working, when I started my own company. And until now, I always had more or less an answer, or at least like the right number. And I'm sure it happened to you as well. But the truth is, like about a month ago, I had like a lunch with a billionaire, and what he shared with me totally changed my perspective on that specific topic. If you don't know me, my name is Guillaume Moubesh and I'm the CEO of Lempire, a company worth $150 million, and I've got nothing to sell you. In this channel, I just share tips about my entrepreneurial journey and things that I wish I knew earlier. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button so you're sure to get our weekly updates and videos. When someone asks you what would be that number, I remember that like when I got started in entrepreneurship, for me, if I could reach 1 million within 5 years, then I would retire. I really thought that 1 million would definitely like change my life, change everything that I had planned and that I needed to work for it. And actually, I even had like this goal of being a millionaire by the age of 30. And the truth is, last year, we sold 20% of our company for $30 million, which means that me and my co-founders, we each got $10 million in cash. And when I received that amount of money, which is definitely like life-changing and meaning that I could have even like stopped working for my entire life, I kind of like felt lost, because during all these years, you know, you've got that specific number in mind where you know that you can retire with that amount of money and do anything else in your life. And once you get it, you're like, okay, like what's next? What's coming next? So when I was like having lunch with that billionaire, for me, it didn't make sense to ask him like, what's his number? Obviously, as a billionaire, it doesn't need like more money. But then I told him like, how exactly do you evolve? Like, how do you set up new goals? And how do you feel about like the money you're earning and what's coming next? And what I realized is that as we go, we always want more. So for example, like when I started lemlist, our first software product, our first goal, which seemed totally out of reach, was to reach 1 million in annual recurring revenue. So for me, getting to 1 million as a software was just fucking massive achievement. When I saw like people getting to that level, I was like, those guys are gods. Like it's impossible to reach 1 million in annual recurring revenue, and that's all I was waiting for, to reach that goal and be part of that club. But the truth is, like as we kept growing and we saw that it was actually possible for us to reach that first milestone, you know, like I kept thinking about what's next. Once we reached 1 million in ARR, the next goal was to reach 10 million. And once we reached 10 million in annual recurring revenue, then I thought, okay, what's coming next? And I said, okay, like our next goal is gonna be to reach like 100 million. Like it's a whole new level, a whole new path. So I asked the billionaire, you know, like how do you set more ambitious goal as you grow, and how do you feel about it? Don't you feel like you're always, you know, running the rat race, as we said? And the guy told me that obviously financial goals are super important as you're growing, but for him, what matters the most is not about the money, it's about the person that he will become once he would reach that goal. So what he told me is like, let's say you're just starting and you want to reach 1 million in annual recurring revenue, which is already like something that very few people can accomplish. What's really important is not about the $1 million, it's about the person that you will become once you reach that 1 million in ARR. And what that guy told me, basically, it's like for him, business revenue is a really good indicator of whether or not what he's doing has an impact. And it makes a lot of sense. So for example, let's say that I'm selling a service. The more money I make, it means the more person I'm serving. Or if you like selling a software, the more money you're making, it means that the more people are using your software, which means that down the line, you're bringing more and more value to more people. And that means that what you're doing is valuable, that you're helping people. And for that, it's quite rewarding. And as you're scaling, it means that your operations will also scale, which means that you're gonna face new type of problems. And for him, as a billionaire, he told me like, I'm always looking forward to the next step, because the truth is like once you set yourself only a financial goal, of course you can reach it and you will reach it, but once you reach it, if you have kind of like build all your happiness around that one specific goal, you're gonna feel totally empty. You're gonna wonder what's next, you're gonna feel lost. And actually that's why when you see like a lot of startup founders selling their company entirely and they don't have anything to do after, they get like totally depressed. And it's very, very tough like to get back back to do something else. However, if you always focus on the next step as, okay, it's gonna be like a transformation of who I am, of what I learn, of the problem that I can actually solve, then it becomes like much more exciting. And in the end, it's never about the number, it's always about the journey. And the number is just an illustration of the impact that you are getting. So for me, when I started thinking about it, I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because we talk a lot about the rat race of, you know, you're always working harder, always grinding harder to get like to that life-changing amount of money, and then you'll be able to quit everything. But the truth to me is like life shouldn't be seen as a rat race. It should be seen, you know, as a journey that you are enjoying. So if right now you're working on something that you really don't like, but you're thinking, okay, like I need to work my ass off so I've got enough money to do X, Y, Z, then my advice to you would be to just stop it and do something else. Because once you reach that amount of money, either you're gonna want more or you're gonna regret that you have wasted that many years of your life doing something that you hate. Because life is short and you'd better be passionate about what you work on. So in the end, my tip to you is, even though you might have a specific number that you think will change your life, it's better to focus on the things that will actually change yourself on a daily basis. For example, for me, what motivates you is how many people can I help becoming entrepreneurs, growing their business and kind of scaling, and especially having them not do the same mistakes that I did in the last years. So if you can find really like your why and what motivates you, then everything becomes easier, because the financial aspect of it is never what will make you happy. However, the way you change and the way you evolved as a person is just super exciting. I really hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know in the comment what's your number, and see whether or not like in a couple of years that will evolve. And I hope to see you next week. Take care.